It's February 24th, 2025. I'm doing some cleaning around the house, and while I'm sweeping, I walk by my front door and see a large package resting on the doorstep. That's probably for my dad, I think to myself as I make to bring it inside. And that's when I see my name on the label. Confused, I take another look at the box, and I get giddy with excitement when I catch one key thing listed on the packaging. He's here. I wasn't at all expecting for this to arrive when it did. Actually, I thought these guys were supposed to start shipping out a month later, sometime in March, but hey, I'm not complaining. After all this time, he's finally here. The very first round of these was released for pre-order in December of 2020, and I missed it because I had to work. And ever since then, it has haunted me. I thought of him for years. I scoured the net and searched for resale opportunities to no avail. I'd send in restock inquiries and check the Pokemon Center website obsessively around holidays, hoping for any sign of his return. But nothing ever came. Then, inevitably, I'd forget about him for a while until, like a pimple, he'd pop back into my life, driving me darn near crazy. But this last year, I really do think that you guys helped to accomplish the impossible. With the force of a small army, we flooded the restock inquiries, and though I had fleeting hope that it would really accomplish much, just a few months later... Oh my gosh, you guys. He's back. He's here and ready to be pre-ordered. We did it. And even if we didn't do that, even if they were planning it from the very beginning, I'm still gonna choose to believe that it was our collective efforts that brought him back. And now, he's finally here. He's home. I set up the camera as fast as I could to record this momentous occasion. So before he suffocates inside of his little packaged prison, let's do it. Let's free my son. Right out of the box, I love him. He's so adorable and cute. He's just a round, chubby, happy little apple animal. But, dear viewer, it is at this point that I feel I should come clean with you. You see, this isn't just a video about an Appletun plush. It's a video about two of them. Now, before you go thinking I deceived you, let me explain. Remember how I said I'd obsess over this plush for months at a time, search for it endlessly, forget about it, and then be doomed to repeat the cycle all over again the next time I remembered it existed? Well, it is with great shame that I must admit, during my last rabid hunt for this sacred icon, I finally found one. In the forbidden lands of eBay. But you gotta understand, I only did it because I legitimately thought I would never see him again. I thought they would never bring another one out. I mean, why would they? They're not beholden to us. After all, I'd spent years sending in restock inquiries and nothing ever came of those. So why would anything new happen this time? I was desperate. And in my hour of despair, the temptation took hold. Now, did I need two Appletun plushes? No. But I have a problem, so here we are. An Appletun from the Pokemon Center US, and an Appletun from the Pokemon Center Japan. Two little guys from two different countries, and as I'm sure you've noticed by now, they aren't exactly the same. That's right, this unboxing video just became a review video. So please, Allow me to score both of these Appletons against one another to find out which is the better Appletun plush. And before we begin, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. Thanks. Alright, let's begin. We're gonna go through and rate these Appletun on a score of 1 to 5 based on my 4 different quality categories. Those categories are softness, shape and size, availability, and total cost. We'll go back and forth between the two, and at the very end, the one with the higher overall score will be named the best Appletun plush. Starting with the Japanese version, in terms of softness, this one gets a 5 out of 5. He's incredibly plush all the way around, and his softness really gives him that pudgy dragon feel that makes him squishable and cute, especially when you nestle him on his back and he sits politely like a little sleepy guy. Meanwhile, the American plush gets a 3.5 out of 5. In terms of softness, while he is still quite plush, I can't help but notice that his top half, that is, the part that's supposed to resemble a pie crust, is notably stiffer than the same area on the Japanese plush. It's almost as if they've used a different kind of fabric, or maybe they've lined it with something, as this area is thicker and less squishy than its Japanese counterpart. Apart from that, the paws on this one also seem quite overstuffed, to the point of being extremely dense and just a bit misshapen, like little club feet. In fact, it almost feels like they've put a piece of shaped foam in here, and I wouldn't be surprised given how solid they feel. When it comes to overall shape and how accurate these plushes both are to the original design of their Pokemon counterpart, they both actually are stunningly similar. When it comes to size, however, the Japanese version of the plush is definitely a bit larger and, when combined with the plushness of his body, really lends well to that rotund, squishy look that I feel Appletun gives off, putting it again in the lead with a score of 4.5 out of 5, whereas the American version, who stands just a bit more rigidly, would get a 4 out of 5. The last two categories are where both of these plushes really start to suffer. The Japanese plush can of course be found on eBay, but quantities are extremely limited, and verifying the trustworthiness and reliability of the seller to deliver an accurate quality item is something that not many folks are going to want to risk for such a hefty chunk of change, giving the Japanese Appletun an availability score of 2 out of 5. But that's still higher than the American plush, which comes in at a 1 out of 5. Though it did restock recently, that restock came only after a 5-year gap, and as you may have guessed, it's currently out of stock again. The only reason this plush is getting any kind of score at all is that, for a short time, it appears that it is at least available in some capacity alongside the Japanese version on the eBay black market. And lastly, we have total cost. The Japanese version scores the lowest overall here with a 0 out of 5. Pricing for these plushes on eBay are all massively overinflated, individually determined by each seller, and changeable at a moment's notice, making them extremely unreliable and horribly unpredictable from day to day. Though my boy arrived safe and sound, and in an even better quality than was described in the listing, he cost, admittedly, a little more than a life-size Gardevoir plush.
You don't want to be like this. This is disgusting. This is awful in every way. If I could kill it, I would. But I legally can't. But I've considered it.
The American version, on the other hand, gets a score of 2.5 out of 5. When it originally released, the listing for this plush was priced at $80, which, for a mass retailer like Pokemon and for the size of this plush, was actually pretty good. But just before the recent restock, the price was upped to $130. Compared to getting one on eBay though, that's still a world of difference, putting the American Appletun slightly in the lead for pricing. So, now that everything's been scored, here are our final tallies. Surprisingly pretty close. Neck and neck. My personal opinion here is, well, I love them both. But I really think that the plush squishiness of the Japanese version can't be beat. When this guy was advertised during his initial release, I believe it was called something like Pokemon Center Mochiri Life-Sized Appletun Plush. And while I'm not entirely sure if Mochiri is a brand or a descriptor, I really do think he's very Mochi-esque. If it weren't for the absurd cost to own, I definitely think he would have come out a bit more in the lead. Would I buy another one? No. But do I regret buying the one I have? Also no. Though, to be honest, I don't think you could really go wrong with either. For as much as I emphasize the difference in texture between the two, I think the American version is still wonderful, and you probably wouldn't notice a difference. Heck, the only reason I noticed any difference at all is because I have a direct comparison. So there it is. If you're like me and you wanted to get your hands on an Appletun plush because you're obsessed, or you're simply curious about the difference between the two types of Appletuns, I hope this helps. All I'm missing now are a couple of Flapple and Applin plushes. And I don't buy Pokemon plushes often, but you just know, if they ever bring out a shiny Appletun, I'm gonna be there. But yeah, anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're wondering why there was such a long gap between this and my last post, don't ask. More on the way, eventually. But for now, please take care, and remember to drink plenty of water, because you know what they say, there's no sensation like hydration. Do you got the goods?
Right here.